Welcome to my channel, The Historic State. What is a prison? Is it merely stone walls and barbed wire? Or is it a state of mind, a cage for the human spirit? In the heart of Nazi Germany, during the darkest days of World War II, there stood a fortress, a place so secure, so inescapable, that the Third Reich sent its most troublesome, defiant and brilliant prisoners there to be broken. It was called Colditz Castle. But the Germans made one fatal miscalculation. They had locked up the bodies, but they had failed to imprison the minds. Today we tell the story of the most ingenious prison break in history, a daring escape where soldiers used intelligence, cunning, and sheer audacity, not brute force, to outsmart their captors. This is the saga of the men of Colditz and the war of wits they waged from inside the enemy's most secure fortress. Now perched atop a sheer cliff overlooking the Mulde River in Saxony, Germany, Colditz Castle was a fortress of despair. A medieval behemoth of stone and steel, it was designated by the German High Command as WWII, a special high-security prisoner of war camp. Its inmates were not ordinary soldiers. They were the incorrigibles, the bad boys of the Allied forces, officers from Britain, France, Poland, and the Netherlands who had a documented, almost pathological history of escaping from other, less secure POW camps. The Germans believed that by putting all these brilliant, troublesome escape artists in one place, they could neutralize them. In reality, they had inadvertently created the most elite, innovative, and obsessive escape university in the world. Among the new arrivals was a British captain named Miles Fowler, nicknamed Foxy for his sharp wit and cunning nature. Like the others, he had a history of daring escapes. He was met by the castle's commandant, a proud, meticulous German officer, who took immense personal pride in his fortress's reputation. "Welcome to Colditz, Captain," the commandant said with a thin, smug smile. "You may have found other camps inadequate. I assure you, you will find no such inadequacies here. The walls are thick, the guards are vigilant, and the cliff is a 250-foot drop. Here, for you, the war is over." But for Foxy Fowler and the men of Colditz, the war had just entered a new, more intimate, and far more psychological phase. Non-THE prisoners of Colditz quickly organized themselves. They formed a clandestine, multinational escape committee, a secret society dedicated to one singular purpose: getting out. This committee was a marvel of ingenuity. They had cartographers who meticulously mapped every inch of the castle from memory. They had forgers who could create flawless German identity papers out of scavenged scraps. They had tailors who could stitch perfect German uniforms from Polish army blankets and British battle dress. They even had an orchestra that would play loud, boisterous music to cover the sounds of their secret digging and sawing. The entire castle became a silent symphony of escape, conducted right under the noses of their German captors. Their resourcefulness was breathtaking. Nothing was wasted. Bed slats were turned into tunnel supports. Sardine tins were painstakingly filed into perfect copies of German keys. Bed sheets were braided into strong, reliable ropes. They made compasses from broken gramophone records and magnetized sewing needles. They distilled potent alcoholic spirits, from stolen potato peels to bribe guards or celebrate a rare success. Their greatest achievement was the construction of several hidden workshops, concealed behind ingenious false walls, where they could work undisturbed. The Germans conducted surprise inspections, or appels, constantly, but the prisoners became masters of concealment, able to hide every trace of their illicit activities in a matter of seconds. It was a relentless, high-stakes game of cat and mouse. After months of meticulous planning, countless near misses, and painstaking labor, Foxy Fowler and his small team were ready for their most audacious attempt yet. The plan was a masterpiece of deception. A three-act play to be performed on the most dangerous stage in the world. The first act, a narrow, suffocating tunnel, dug by hand from the stone floor of the castle's chapel cellar, extending over 100 feet beneath the outer courtyard and beyond the first wall. The second act, perfect disguises. Two of them would be dressed as German officers, complete with forged travel papers ordering them to a fictional conference. The third would be their guard. The final act, timing. They would emerge in the dead of night, during a shift change, when vigilance was at its lowest. Every detail had been obsessed over, every contingency planned for. The night of the escape, the air in Colditz was thick, with an almost unbearable tension. One by one, Fowler and his two companions slipped into the chapel and descended into the tunnel. The crawl was agonizing. The air was thin, the space so tight they could barely move. One of the men, a young Polish lieutenant, began to panic, his breath coming in ragged gasps. Fowler, his voice a calm, steady whisper in the suffocating darkness, talked him down, reminding him of the freedom that lay just a few feet away. After what felt like an eternity, they reached the end. They broke through the surface into a small, dark storage cellar outside the main castle wall. Their hearts pounded as they quickly, silently, shed their prisoner clothes and donned the uniforms of their enemy. This was the most dangerous part. They emerged from the cellar, their postures rigid, their expressions a mask of German arrogance. They walked, not ran, directly through the outer courtyard, their footsteps echoing in the chilling silence. They approached the main gate, their path blocked by a lone German sentry. The sentry snapped to attention, his rifle held ready. "Halt! Papers!" he barked. Foxy Fowler, his heart hammering against his ribs, returned the salute with practiced ease. He presented the forged documents, his hand miraculously steady. The sentry took the papers, his eyes scanning them suspiciously under the dim gate light. The seconds stretched into an eternity. This was it. One flawed detail, one hint of a foreign accent, and it was all over. Finally, after a heart-stopping pause, the sentry nodded, satisfied. He stamped the papers, handed them back, and saluted crisply. "Heil Hitler!" Foxy returned the salute, and the three men walked, with deliberate, unhurried steps, out of the main gate and into the sweet, cold air of freedom. They had done it. They had walked out of the lion's den. Their journey through Nazi Germany was another ordeal, a perilous trek of hundreds of miles. But their cunning and their flawless forgeries saw them through to the safety of neutral Switzerland. Back at Colditz, the discovery of the tunnel and the audacious escape sent the German command into a frenzy. The commandant, his reputation shattered, was apoplectic with rage. His perfect, inescapable fortress had been breached, not by force, but by intellect, patience, and an unbreakable will. The escapes from Colditz were more than just a quest for freedom. They were a profound psychological victory, tying up vast German resources and proving that the Allied spirit could not and would not be contained. The men of Colditz fought a different kind of war. Their weapons were not guns and bombs, but sewing needles, sardine tins, and the limitless power of the human mind. They proved that even in the most hopeless of circumstances, the desire for freedom, combined with ingenuity and unwavering resolve, can overcome any obstacle. They didn't just escape a prison, they exposed its vulnerabilities and, in doing so, became a powerful symbol of defiance against a tyrannical regime. They were the men who outsmarted the Third Reich, proving that no wall is high enough, no lock strong enough, to cage the determined human spirit. Thank you for watching The Historic State. If this incredible story of ingenuity, audacity, and the relentless pursuit of freedom moved you, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Because here we believe that the greatest victories are often won not with brute force, but with a brilliant mind.